We often think that we need to make big changes or think big to break free from gaming addiction. What if I told you that small, consistent changes can have a profound impact? I was a victim of gaming addiction for nearly a decade, and it wasn't one big change that helped me quit. In this 4-part series, I'll share the principles from this book, Atomic Habits, to break down the habit loop, that is, cue, craving, response, and reward. So, the first thing in the habit cycle, the cue, as the author describes, is something that triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. In our case, it's to start playing games. Firstly, we'll look into what the different cues could be, and then we'll go into how we can tackle each one of these cues. A cue could be anything. It could be something like, it's just you're stressed after work and you've reached home and it's after hours now, and then it's time to start the rest of the day. So you're just stressed after work. It could be just that it's a particular time of the day and it's just the time that you start playing. Maybe it's 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or whatever time it might be. So it's just the time has hit and you just, that's the cue for you to start the game. Another cue could be simply, you're scrolling through Instagram or you're scrolling through some other social media like YouTube or TikTok, and then you see the game and then, it triggers something in you. So this could be another cue that could start you to, go into and play games. It could also be just talking to a friend over the phone and it just triggers you, like, you remember about playing the game, and then that's how, you get started to play. So this could be a cue for you to start playing. Another cue is simply that you saw the device, maybe your PlayStation or whatever is connected, and you saw the game, and that could have triggered you to start the game. So it could be as simple as just you looking at the device. Another cue could be that you have planned the session beforehand. I mean, this is not really a cue, but the time hits, it's 5 o'clock now. You decided beforehand that at 5 o'clock you're going to start gaming, and that could have been simply the trigger that you start playing today. So these are the cues that I have identified that I have been a victim to, at least at some point in my life, and that have led me to start gaming. So it could be as simple as I just saw the device and I saw the icon on my screen and I just like, okay, maybe I could play it, or I saw a video on YouTube and that led me to play a game. So a cue is, if you get my drift right now, a cue is something that leads you to start a game. It could be as simple as, you have a set time every day and that's when you start gaming. Or it could be just talking to a friend and then leading to a game. So these are the 5 areas that I've identified that could trigger a gaming session, let's say. So maybe there are some other cues that you can identify yourself. So what helps is, in your day-to-day, whenever you start gaming, like keeping a journal aside to track some more cues or whatever, something else that is most problematic for you, that is something that triggers it almost every time for you. So for you to find out what it could be. Now, let's look into each of them and look into how we can solve them, how we can make it that this habit is triggered less. That is, you don't start the gaming session itself. You're not triggered to start the gaming session. So what the author says is, in the first one, is how to make it obvious. So in our case, how to make it less obvious or not obvious at all. So the first one is, like obviously after some hard day of work, probably you're stressed out and you want to chill out, relax, and get the stress out, let's say wind down for the day, and a gaming session is a perfect way to do it. I would highly recommend trying out different things. Like if this is something that's triggering your gaming sessions and you're having problems with your gaming sessions, maybe try meditating for a while. I know it sounds difficult to do, but it has been proven to calm you down, to relieve the stress, even if it's 5 minutes every day. 5 minutes, everybody has 5 minutes, just to put aside some time and meditate for just 5 minutes. So that could be something you could try. Another thing that works for me is listening to a podcast or an audiobook, something as simple as that, and maybe going for a walk and listening to it. This is also something that keeps the mind busy and removes some stress. Maybe you could listen to some, everybody has their own taste. Maybe you could find some podcast that you find very relaxing and calming to relieve the stress for the day, something like that. I found that listening to audiobooks keeps me engaged and relieves the stress for me. Or maybe you could find some other way to relieve stress. Some people find just taking a simple bath, a nice warm bath, helps them cool down after a stressful day at work or studies. So all of these things can help you relieve stress rather than going into gaming. Remove the habit at its root, that is whenever it's triggered. This is one cause that can trigger a gaming session. So the other time could be that it's just the particular time of the day and you have planned it in before. That's when you generally start your gaming sessions. And what you could try here is to, if it's something that you always do, maybe it's 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. every day that your games, let's say your friends come online and you guys have a gaming session. What you could try to do is at 5 o'clock you could plan something else altogether. Plan your calendar, plan your day beforehand, that at 5 o'clock the trigger is going to come for you to start your gaming session. Maybe you could plan something else. Maybe you could go for a workout at the gym. Maybe you could go for a swim, or you could pick up a book to read, or you could call somebody. You could literally plan your day from that time onwards, what you're going to do, so that you don't have a set time in your calendar to do this. This is something that I was victim to all the time, that I would see the game in some social media and that would trigger me to go back and play. So one way I found very helpful is to delete all history from my YouTube. This is something that refreshes your whole YouTube recommendation, and it comes out with new recommendations, and I make sure I don't watch gaming videos again. Something else that also works is all of the social media platforms have an option for you to downvote a video, or to say don't recommend me, something like that. So to train the algorithm not to recommend you gaming related videos. When you look at the device itself, or you look at the icon in the desktop, or you see your PS5 or whatever it could be, you see your console, this is an obvious one. It's an easy trigger as well. You see it and then you want to play, you want to start a session, etc. The solution to this is also very simple, fortunately, is to hide the device, store it inside somewhere, keep it out of sight. And if you have on your desktop, or if you're on your PC and there are these icons in front of you, or Steam app or whatever app, maybe it's Blizzard, Battle.net, hide all of them. If possible, delete them. Another way I think we can tackle this is by changing the orientation of the room. So if you if you're used to gaming in a particular position, and when you sit in that position, your mind automatically triggers a gaming session. It's a cue for you to start a gaming session. Just rearrange the room in a different manner that doesn't trigger this. I'm running out of space here. So the fifth point here is very similar to the second one that we discussed, but I differentiate them in the way that this is something that happens every day. The time of the day is something that happens every day. Plan beforehand could be once in a while you plan, and then this could trigger you to have a long session. The solution here is also very simple. Try avoiding planning gaming sessions beforehand. Even if you have made a promise, it's okay. It's fine telling them that sorry, I can't make it, I'm trying to cut back on my gaming, or whatever it could be. So even if you have a planned session, maybe it's a raid with your buddies online, maybe it's like a gaming session you plan with your friends, I believe they will understand if you tell them this is causing a big detriment to you and then you have to stop. Just make it clear to them that I'm facing issues over here and I want to stop over here. It's okay. That I know there could be a social pressure from them to come and play, and you'll feel this guilt about not showing up for your friends or anything, but we are in a journey to improve ourselves, and I'm sure your friends, if they are your true friends, will understand. So I would say try avoiding this planning altogether. If it's not avoidable, at least tell them that you can't make it for the next time or whatever it is. So try to reason with them. Yep. So these are the 5 areas that I have identified. Those could be cues for you to start a gaming session. And if you identify something else that is maybe I don't cover all of them here, so what could help you is to journal your triggers. Write it down. What are your triggers? Number 1, what is your trigger? Number 2, what is your trigger? What are the common ones that trigger you to start a gaming sessions? Try and find out a solution to stop those triggers at their root. So these are the reasons that could lead you into gaming, and I've discussed some solutions for each of them. So in this 4-part series, we are trying to identify the 4 cornerstones of every habit, that is cue, craving, response, and reward. So in part 2 of this, I go into the next step, that is craving. That is when a cue is seen, you get a craving. So if these don't work, maybe you could cut down the habit, minimizing the craving for the game. So when it's ready, I'll put the video over here. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.